Hello and welcome to Highlights. My name is Jim Strawn, host of the television program Highlights from the Heart of Our Community. Is a television show brought to you through a collaboration between my company, Jim Strawn and Company, our good friends at Optimum Cable Services, and Kanawha County Schools TV. And if you're a regular viewer of this show, and we certainly hope that you are, you know how much we love to focus on those grassroots organizations, sometimes not-for-profit, sometimes small businesses, sometimes colleges and universities. You know that we love to talk about that, and we talk to people that are doing amazing work, phenomenal work to make our great state of West Virginia, our Kanawha Valley, and our city of Charleston a much better place to live, learn, work, and to play, and to raise a family. And today it is my honor to introduce you to the new University of Charleston head men's basketball coach, James Long. James has a long journey to get to where he is today. So we hope that you have and will gain a lot of insight, a lot of valuable information. We're going to talk about his journey. We're going to talk about the University of Charleston. We're going to talk a little bit about the Mountain East Conference that UC plays in. But mostly we're going to talk about basketball, and we're going to introduce you to the new coach. So again, lots of good information coming your way. Sit back and relax and soak it all up as I turn to my right. And it is an honor. And I welcome into the Highlights program for the very first time my new good friend, Coach James Long. Coach, how are you?
I'm amazing, man. Thanks for having me on.
You look amazing.
Yeah.
You got your UC Cares vest
on. Got my gear on.
You're ready
Cares,
to go?
Yep.
So just a few months ago, the athletic director, Dr. Brent Stevens, announces James Long, the new men's head basketball coach at the University of Charleston, the Golden Eagles. Now, you're from Charleston, but when that was announced, talk through how you felt at that moment.
It really is hard to put into words. I think we say it a lot. My dad gets on me. I say surreal a little too much.
Yeah.
But it is.
It was.
It is. It is. And this is a job I've genuinely wanted my entire life. Mm-hmm. I called someone close to me and I said, hey, what's the one job I would leave my current situation for? Because I didn't necessarily want to leave. I was happy there. Mm-hmm. I wanted to be there. When I asked him, he was like, Charleston, immediately. You know, it's well known. I've said it a million times now. I worked out there every day. I was home. Christmas Day. Mm-hmm. Went to all the camps growing up. Went to all the state games. Just games in general. You know, I still remember players like Jonathan White. You know, and how much he meant to me and how I looked up to him as a kid. And just the responsibility we have for engaging the community and all that. But back to what you're saying about when it was announced, I don't know if it's still hit me.
Yeah.
You know, the realization.
You're still floating, aren't you?
Yeah, still floating. And
there'll come a time when you got to get to work. You know that, right?
And I think you're busy trying to hire a staff and get your team together. And you know, I'm a worker, so just putting your head down and grinding. I think it'll feel real the first time we go in there for a game.
You mentioned that Charleston was your dream job. Mm-hmm. Now I asked you about how you felt when it was announced, but now let's talk to the audience about why it meant so much to you. You're from Charleston. Let's talk about your journey from, let's just say, your high school years. Give us a Cliff Note version of the journey from high school to where you are today, Coach.
Yeah, I mean, first, why it means so much to me is I wouldn't be where I am without the people that raised me and supported me. And I think inspiration beats motivation every time. And I'm a very inspired person for all the people that believe in me. So just trying to represent them and the university to the best of my ability. But a little bit about my journey. From here, grew up here my whole life. Went to GW for a year. Great experience, but you know, something that was probably better for me at the time was Woodbury Forest.
Yeah, over Virginia.
Yep.
Yeah, I know people that went there.
Yeah,
great school.
Great school.
Great school.
The
Tigers, right?
The Tigers.
Yeah.
Teaches you a lot of different things. You know, there's one thing they did in particular. It's like, you know, reflecting back on your experience. Like we had to set tables, you know, for a 2-week period, and you just learn, you know, table manners, and you're sitting with a table full of people all over the world and engaging different cultures. And I think it really helped with the empathy piece of coaching, of connecting with different people, understanding where they are, their experiences. And then I had a transformational coach, Joel Justice. He's associate head coach at Ohio State now. He's been, you know, a guiding influence in my life.
He was a basketball coach.
Yes.
Did you play basketball at Woodbury?
I did.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So he coached me, and he's been in my life ever since, and someone I, you know, aspire to be like, and has helped me. And then from there, I went to Wofford College for a year.
Yeah. Played
Played basketball there. Had a great experience, but I always knew I wanted to be a coach. and I had the opportunity to walk on at West Virginia. Obviously, being from here, it's a dream. So I did that. Had a
So
great.
what you were there for 2 or 3 years?
I was at West Virginia for 4.
You
so
did
I
all
would
4
sit out a
years
year.
there. You're there. So you were on Coach Huggins' team.
Yes.
Like 16, 17, 18, 17,
Graduated
18,
in
19?
17.
17. Okay.
So towards the end of my playing career, I knew I wanted to get into coaching. Knew I wasn't getting in the Big 12 tournament or the NCAA tournament. So I asked the video coordinator, Josh Eiler, if he would teach me the video software because it was a huge part of coaching. And he let me help him. He did not need to do that in such a stressful time of the year. So I learned the video stuff, and I'm looking for a job. Once I got done playing, trying to get my foot in the door, ironically enough, someone left our staff, Josh bumped up, and he was able to vouch for me to be the video coordinator. So got a job I probably should not have had, and it was so great. The video thing really shaped me as a coach because you're breaking down opponents, you're figuring out how to teach your team how to get better, but also in the off season, being able to utilize the software and the analytics, you get to really dive into studying the best across the country. You know, we played teams like Villanova, Kansas, and to really be able to dive into what made them great was huge for me. So 2 years into it, West Virginia Tech opens. You know, I had people vouching for me that.
On campus in Beckley?
Yes.
Yes, on Beckley.
So got a job I probably should not have gotten. I'm the luckiest person on planet Earth. And I go down there, I get to be a head coach at 26. Yeah. And I think being able to walk into this situation I'm in now with some confidence, having been a head coach for 5 years now, at a young age has really helped me. And then lastly, I was down in Charlotte. We had a player development company. You know, I had just been in West Virginia my entire life, and I could live here for the rest of my life. I love it. But in terms of recruiting and network, I really wanted to kind of go bet on myself, go down there and build a new network. And then I got the coaching job at Davidson Day for a year. We had a great group of kids.
What's Davidson Day? Is that a college? Is it a prep school? Is it high school? What is that?
It's a private high school.
The private high school,
So
Davidson
great.
Day.
I mean, it was like coaching college basketball.
Yeah,
It was
okay.
incredible. We won a state
You
championship.
guys were pretty successful there,
Yeah,
right? State championship? Yeah.
Won a state championship.
Just last year?
Yeah, it was my favorite team I've ever been a part of.
Wow.
Just great group of human beings and talented too. Probably had 5, 6 Division I players. And then UC opened, and now I'm here.
So yeah, Coach Dwayne Osborne, who we knew and love him to this day, and wish him the best of luck at Youngstown as a Penguin. He was here 11 years. You know, as you mentioned, and you always talk about the word engagement. He really engaged the community, he and his wife and his family, and he has a great opportunity. So it opened up a wonderful opportunity for you. So here you are. You're part of the Mountain East Conference. Let's talk about how are you assembling the team? The team is basically assembled. Talk about the makeup of your inaugural season. What's your basketball team going to look up? What's the makeup of your players?
I would say a bunch of basketball players.
Yeah.
Sounds very simple,
Yeah.
but
From all over? Did you know them?
All over. We have a kid from Australia. We have a transfer from Coastal. Some high school seniors we probably should not have. I mean, I think 3 years ago they have 15 Division I offers. One from Leesburg, Virginia, one from Canton, Ohio.
Yeah.
We have a local kid, Jay Allen Turner, who's going to be incredible. So it's kind of funny, we have like one of everything. We have a passing point guard, we have a scoring guard, we have some versatile bigs. The returners coming back are great. We're kind of, you know, we're not necessarily the biggest team, but we're big all the way through the roster. And everyone has a really great feel for how to play basketball. So,
You know, the Mountain East Conference, I consider it one of the best basketball conferences for smaller schools
100%.
in the United States of America. We always compete nationally. You know, West Liberty's one of our benchmarks, and Dwayne's has a pretty good runs. And on the women's side,
Yeah.
I mean, Kim won the national
Right.
title a couple years ago. Now she's at Tennessee. Talk a little bit about what you know and what you're looking forward to. What do you think of the Mountain East Conference as far as basketball is concerned, Coach?
It's the best.
Yeah.
I think over the last 5, 6 years, I've watched more MEC basketball than any other league in the country. You know, I'm from here. I love it. I'm familiar with the coaches, the players, the areas, and it's just something I enjoy watching. I think every Wednesday and Saturday I was flipping on the MEC app and watching some games, you know, because it's familiar. It brings me back to my childhood. And it's really good basketball. You know, I think I've always wanted to be in the MEC. I really have wanted to coach in this league. It's great basketball, great competition, history, some great rivalries, great systems clashing. And I'm just really excited to be a part of it.
In terms of basketball, you've got some basketball players. What is your philosophy for the game? What are your X's and O's? What do you focus on? Just as an example, Coach Osborne, field goal percentage, always
Right.
one of the leaders in the nation. Outscore your opponent. I can play some defense, but I'm going to outscore you. What is your philosophy on winning the game of basketball?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think the most important thing is fitting it best to your personnel. I think it's something we do a great job as a staff of, is getting the best players we can get, assessing what their strengths are, and then building to that. So we may play different every year. At West Virginia Tech, there was a distinct difference in how we played every single season.
Well, you might have learned a little bit from Coach Huggins. He tailored to his
Yep.
team, right? Sometimes you did the helter-skelter thing for 40 minutes and full court press, and sometimes you said, I don't have a team to do that right
Yeah,
now.
and I think
That's a coaching thing.
Yeah, and our job as coaches is to do what's best for the players.
Right.
And if you're trying to force them into a system that doesn't bring out the best in them, then you're doing a disservice to your players. So
Have you assembled your coaching staff yet?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
so they're in place. You want to mention some of those guys?
Yeah, we got Peyton Sturm
Yeah.
right
all
now, and I have 2 assistants. They haven't signed the contracts
Okay,
yet,
so we're not going to mention their name.
no, but they're great young guys. One guy played for me. Another guy was with me my time at West Virginia and is incredible. He's a data analytics engineering major. So
Smart dude.
we got a staff. We probably should say
You guys
we're
are going to
very
bring some
lucky to
energy.
have.
You're going to bring some energy.
For
I
sure.
can
There's
feel
going to
it.
be a lot of energy
Yeah.
in the Innovation Center.
Hey, we're talking with the new men's basketball coach, the head basketball coach at the University of Charleston, Coach James Long, a Charleston native, living out his dream right here. You can see on the screen he's back at the University of Charleston. He's back home in Charleston. We all look forward to a really nice season with him. If you watched this show before, I enjoy providing the public address for all the men's and women's basketball games. So I look forward to calling his games this year. We got the coaching staff assembled. And when I was reading got your players, everything's coming together. This is kind of the honeymoon phase. You're still on cloud 9. But when I was reading Dr. Stevens' quote, she mentioned, you have a high basketball IQ. We can sense that. You're a smart guy. We can sense that. But she even mentioned it in her quote. James also has a high EQ. So you're a big emotional intelligence guy. And I'm coming from someone as your host, I love to chat about emotional intelligence. I understand adaptability and empathy. You even used the word empathy already in our conversation, and managing your anxiety and gelling. So you mentioned you have a bunch of basketball players who don't know each other. How will EQ come into gelling this team together for the chemistry in the locker room? And how do you go about using your EQ to get this team to where they need to be by March?
Yeah, I think the most important part is me.
Yeah.
Of being the best version of myself. Because if I'm not the best version of myself, I'm not helping them the way they need it. And I'm in charge of, 20 people, a lot more than 20, probably 25. And that's a major responsibility. So I think that you always have to put yourself in a place to be mentally, physically, emotionally healthy, to be there for other people, because you have to be there for them. It can't be, I'm tired today, I can't deal with your problems. You got to be there to help the people you're in charge of. So first and foremost, it starts with you. And then the second thing, I think the next most important thing is just how you listen. Spending time with people. To understand where they're at. If you're not investing time in people constantly, then you're not going to be able to tell how they're doing. And that's a huge part for me as a coach, is putting the time into people to understand where they're at. When someone walks into an office by mid-year, I want to be able to understand, hey, he's having a rough day. I'm going to coach him a little differently today. I might not pick out every mistake. I'm going to be there for him a little bit. And then the last thing I think is dialogue. Who are you consistently? What's important to you? Are all the cliche buzzwords about togetherness, energy to others, is that important to you when things are going well, but then when it goes bad, it's about mistakes and basketball? I want people to understand in my dialogue what's important to me at all times, and especially in the tough moments of, wow, Coach Long's really about giving energy to other people and being there for each other and accomplishing things together. And I hope they'll see that in the tough times too.
I love it. Great answer. We continue our conversation with Coach James Long, the new head men's basketball coach at the University of Charleston. So we're talking about that chemistry. We're talking about EQ. We've talked about your players and your staff. You've talked to me off camera, and you've even mentioned it a couple times in this conversation. The word engagement, and you're engaging yourself, you're engaging your team, you want to be engaging into the Charleston community. And Charleston's not very big, and we're very engaging community, and you all know that, you grew up here. What are some, the University of Charleston on Labor Day, they do their Labor of Love, the most engaging project I've ever seen from a university with their community. I love Labor of Love. That's Dr. Roth's idea, by the way. Great idea, Dr. Roth. What are some things, what do you mean when you say, hey, we want to engage the community? What are some thoughts on that?
I don't necessarily have specific events in my head or anything like that.
Sure.
I think it
but just
mainly
conceptually.
is just time into different people, into different businesses, in the schools, just around the community, being present, because you can't, I think that's the most important thing of what we're doing, because I know how they impacted me as a kid. I know that there are areas of the city that need help and need someone to look up to show them how things can be done, how you can be successful, treating people right, working hard, being consistent. And if we can do that for even one person, I think we did our job, and I think it's the most important thing we do. What's the difference between going 25-3 and 23-5? How are you impacting other people? And I think it's just being present, I'd love to go to schools and read, have our players read. I'd love to, I want to lead the way community service-wise.
Love it.
For the athletic department. And I'm not sitting here making a promise or a guarantee, but,
Well, you'll be involved with Labor of Love on Labor
for
Day.
sure. Great event.
Because the team always is.
Yeah,
the
for
student
sure.
athletes that you see, they all get out and do something.
Right.
So you'll pick a project, and that'll be great. And boy, it's great for camaraderie too. It's just great to bring the players together. And you mentioned you went to Woodbury, and you went to school with so many folks from really all over the world. University of Charleston is known for its diversity. It's known for, I don't know how many different countries students come from, Denmark and Australia, and we have an amazing men's soccer and women's and lacrosse, and these players come from all over the world, and your basketball team is going to be no different. Do you think your experience at Woodbury, do you think your experience on your journey in your 31 years has helped you understanding various cultures and languages, and just and I teach there, and it's interesting for me to learn about kids from France and kids from Denmark and kids from Africa. It's neat. Are you prepared for all that? I think you are, but I just wanted to see what your thoughts were on the diversity of the University of Charleston.
100%. I think
it's cool, right?
All my life experiences, I've been fortunate to be in a lot of different situations and been around a lot of different people. And my mom, growing up, she was big on engaging other people. When I was a kid getting dropped off at camp, I was going to make friends. And I have a brother named Tawan that came into our life when I was in first grade, and I think he kind of really took my, engaging other people to the next level. Everyone knew Tawan, they loved Tawan. He had so many different friends, and he interacted. What I noticed and took from Tawan the most was he interacted with every person the same exact way. It wasn't, wow, this person's more important than this person. He just loved people. And, I just I've been around so many, all my teammates at West Virginia were all different. I went to Woodbury, and there's people from China, from Denmark, from Australia. And I was the guy that, because of my brother and my mom and my family, that if a kid was eating alone, I was going to sit with them. So, I care about people. Cares is, a way of life. And, I love bringing a group of people from different areas together and accomplishing something.
I'm going to give you an opportunity. You touched on it early with my first question, but I want to give you a deeper opportunity to talk about the gratitude that you have for the president of the University of Charleston, Dr. Marty Roth, and your direct boss, the athletic director, Brent Stevens, who's one of the best athletic directors in the United States of America, bar none. I mean,
No question.
And then what you do athletically there with all the teams that she has assembled and all the coaching staffs and all the student athletes, and we're just one of the best. We're one of the best athletic programs in America, University of Charleston. Talk about your gratitude to both of them and anybody else that you want to thank that was part of the process that you went through.
Thank you for that, but I should have led the interview with that.
Well, you touched on it, but I'm giving you a deeper
I make
opportunity.
sure I tell him thank you anytime I see him.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Roth, what he's done for the university,
Remarkable.
You know, and he cares about the community. Labor of Love is so awesome.
That was his
And
idea. I love it.
it looks different. It feels different. It feels more engaging,
Mm-hmm.
like, you know,
Yeah.
the cliche word we've been saying, but, you know, it starts with him. So thank you to Dr. Roth.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Stevens is genuinely the best leader I think I've ever been around in my life. You know, I would have taken UC regardless of the people and the circumstance because of what the school means to me. But when I got here and felt the synergy and connectivity of the staff and like how much they genuinely care about each other, you know, she'll pull me in her office right now and be like, "Hey, are you doing okay? Like, I know you're from here. You're getting pulled a bunch of different directions. Like, where does that happen?
Yeah.
You know?" And I think that gets lost along the way a lot of places, but not with her. It's first and foremost for her. And when you're going through your meetings and getting the job, you're engaging different people on the campus. It is everything to her. Like, her people are everything to her. And you know, a lot of times you go a place you may not have a leader that you're aspiring to be like, and I think that that's really important. And I'm aspiring to be like her every day in terms of caring about my people. And she is genuinely the best administrator I've ever been around. I've been in a lot of different places, but just a great person. And lastly, I just want to thank the search committee. You know, a bunch of great coaches. I think if you don't know how successful the UC athletic department is, you should check because it's something our whole city should be proud
Well,
of.
you did some research
Yeah.
before you went through their hiring process on, you know, Bren and the athletics program and the men's basketball team, and you found some things I'm sure you were like, wow, we're pretty good.
I mean, she's
That you
taken
didn't
us
know.
from, I think we went from 211th in the
Yeah,
Learfield
right.
Cup to now 7th.
We're number 7 in the nation.
And we had 311 student athletes to like 620 some. I mean, in her introductory press conference, she talked about getting the Innovation Center built. She did it immediately.
Yeah.
You know, you should really, like, if you're from Charleston, you should really look at what Dr. Stevens has accomplished and Dr. Roth, but also too, like, what these coaches are accomplishing. Like, everyone's excited that I'm here and Bubby's here, and like, let's also shed light on like what the people have accomplished. 9 out of 13
we have
teams
national
go
titles.
to the national
We're
tournament.
all going to the Eastern regionals, or the regionals, or whatever sport it is. They seem to advance pretty far deep in the season.
It's
Testament. What a testament.
It's as good an athletic department as there is in the country.
On August the 9th, it's the final Moses Auto Group Live on Levee. It's also the University of Charleston night. Dr. Marty Roth, who we were just talking about, usually comes down and says a few words. Sometimes we talk about the football season coming up. I'm just going to go ahead and invite you to be down there on August the 9th as well. Maybe I can introduce you to the Live on the Levee audience. It is UC night, so it's August the 9th. It's the final Live on Levee. Dr. Roth will be there. I work with the advancement office there. So I want you to put that on your calendar. August the 9th, it's UC night at Live on Levee. Dr. Roth will be there. Hope you'll be there as well. Maybe bring some of your players if they're in town, and we'll introduce the players and you to the audience at Live on Levee. We'll throw a couple UC shirts. It's always fun.
I will be there.
So you didn't know that happened, did you?
No, I'll be there.
I'm giving
I'll
it to
be
you
there.
live on TV right here. But
live commitment.
It's a pretty neat thing. So we just have maybe a few minutes left, and I know we've dived into lots of different things. But do you have a parting shot? Do you have something that I haven't asked you that you were prepared to answer, or you just have something that you have to let the audience know about you that I haven't asked you? Get something off your chest, or what makes you tick, or how excited you are about the season, or why you should come out. If you haven't been to a UC men's basketball game, why should you come? I'll give you an opportunity to kind of do a parting shot here.
Yeah, I got two things. I think the first thing is, I feel guilty at times that like I'm always on the interview and everyone's writing articles about me and stuff, but I really want to shed light on Peyton Sturm, my head assistant, associate. He's going to be associate head coach hopefully, and he came down with me to West Virginia Tech sight unseen. We walked in the office together for the first time, and all the success in my career has largely been in part to him. Like, he's very good at everything I'm bad at. He really knows like how to communicate with me effectively, the players, and I think he checks me from day to day in terms of like, are we getting each guy better? Like, he's so invested in our players' development as human beings, and like to see how the guys from West Virginia Tech still communicate with him and how upset they were when he left. How he learns every day, how consistent he is. He really makes me better every day, and I just want the city of Charleston to know like how lucky we are to have him here. And I think when we are successful here, it's going to be a large part and because of him pushing me and pushing everyone every day. And then the second thing, why you should come out to a game, I think, is largely because who we are as coaches. I don't have a win total I want to get on the year. I don't put win a championship as a goal in the season. What impact are we having? Why should people come back? When I'll ask our team, why should people come out and support you? It's not about, oh, you won by 15. How'd you win? When you lose, how'd you lose? Are you proud of both of those? And I think that this is going to be this. We will always put teams out there, and it may take time, but by the end of every year, it's always going to be a team that you want to support because they're putting their heart into each other. They're putting their heart into UC, and they're playing. We're going to build a program that's here for the right reasons. And my purpose for coaching is to show people that you can win at the highest level, doing things the right way, treating people the right way. So I think that you should come support our purpose behind why we're playing. So.
Very good. Coach, we'll leave it at that. We are out of time. What a great conversation. And there he is, the new University of Charleston head basketball coach for the men's basketball team, the Golden Eagles, Coach James Long. We hope that you'll support him. You'll see him out and about. We hope to see you at the Worley Center for some basketball games. And I wish him nothing but the best. I'll be there for just about every home game, if not all the home games. I love to be there. Buddy, congratulations. Let's have a good season.
Appreciate you, brother.
I'll see you on August the 9th, if not sooner.
August the 9th, yep.
There he is. That's all the time we have for on this edition of Highlights, as always brought to you by my company, Jim Strawn and Company, along with Optimum Cable Services and Kanawha County Schools TV. We'll see you at the Worley during basketball season, and we'll see you next time right here on Highlights. Take care now.